begin tonight's meeting, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Snow to introduce some guests that we have on this evening.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Blair. We are happy to introduce our guest board members for the meeting tonight as they're critiquing our board as part of the Board of Distinction requirements. So we have Claire Maxwell and Francis Rosales from Rutherford County. And Sonia Brogdon from Dixon County. So welcome, ladies.
Thank y'all being here. This time we will do our recognitions and good news awards. We'll ask Ms. Bell if she would conduct that for us, please.
For our Franklin Special School District Artist of the Month, I'd like for May Heidel to please come forward. May is a 10-year-old from Moore Elementary School, and she is a 4th grader. May created this pumpkin perfection in Mr. Reynolds' art class at Moore Elementary. Students studied a new technique for printmaking called gel plate printmaking. After sourcing some fall leaves from the playground, May and her classmates used the shape and texture of the leaves to create their backgrounds for this printmaking technique. Then students learned about light and shading to draw a pumpkin perfect for the fall season. Congratulations to May on being the Franklin Special School District Artist of the Month for the month of November. May's artwork is on display at the central office and is featured on our employee birthday cards for the month of November. A special thank you to Chuck Sugg and Sonic Drive-In for sponsoring the Student Artist of the Month program with a generous donation of a $15 gift card. Congratulations, May.
Time public input. There is a podium to my left if there is someone here for public input. Seeing no one, we declare that public input is now closed. All right, reports and presentations, discussions. Dr. Decker is not here.
Okay. Dr. Decker's not here this evening.
We go around the finance center.
We just gonna go with, okay, all right. So
Unless
Dr.
you have
Estlin,
some questions on your teaching and learning report.
questions, teaching and learning? Dr. Estlin.
Well, I will open the floor up as well for questions on the bond-funded capital project report you have in your board packet. I will add one nugget of information. We are now going vertical at the new central office complex. Steel has begun to go up as of this morning. So as you drive by there the next couple of days, you're going to see some significant changes in the landscape. So that's an exciting day when that first steel beam was installed. But I welcome any questions. Be glad to answer anything you may have. Yes, sir, Mr. Stelly.
Are you sure that we're only building 2 stories because the size of that crane?
Yeah.
Like we're building a 50-story building.
I agree. I wondered. I thought, we did cut the 3rd story off, right? Yes, we did. Well, somebody didn't tell the crane company, apparently, because it's huge. Well, you know, Nashville has, that's the new state bird, is the crane, right? So we have cranes everywhere around here. So it's some 150 feet long. I think it's the length of it. So, yes, ma'am.
I do have a question about the water restriction delaying our water line. Is that like causing anything to fall behind? Are they able to do other projects? Or?
Yes, it caused us to literally sit on our hands for about 3 weeks. So it did push back hopefully the temporary occupancy of the facilities and transportation center probably until February now. That has been resolved. We've worked through that, and we are on go now.
we had any surprises along the way as far as cost? Or are we still kind of buzzing through what we expected?
We've had some minor things that contingency has added to and taken away from. So we have every OAC meeting, we have a contingency analysis of what's in the contingency, where we've done some minor add-ons or some value engineering for different products, and those are conversations going on all the time, and they either put and take from contingency, but we still have a healthy contingency left. Nothing major, no matter.
Please keep the aerial views coming.
Yeah.
That is the coolest aspect of
That is really
being
neat.
able to see
I
how-
really just need to send y'all a link. And you can see the time-lapse photography and the drone video footage. This next one's going to be really neat when all the steel beams are being put together in speed fashion.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. Approval of the board agenda, is there a motion? Stillings, is there a second?
A second.
Barker, all in favor? Thank you. Approval of the consent agenda, is there a motion?
Motion.
So approved.
Council, second?
Second.
Spell, all in favor? Hand. Thank you. Business before the board, Dr. Snow.
Yes, our first item for consideration tonight is the TISA accountability report. The Tennessee Investment in Student Achievement Public School Funding Formula marks a significant change in how Tennessee invests in public education. As part of TISA, TCA 493112 requires each school district starting in the 23-24 school year to submit an annual accountability report to the Department of Education. This report must include, number one, goals for student achievement, and one of the goals must include the district's plan to pursue the goal of 70% or more of district's third grade students to score met or exceeded expectations on the English arts portion of the TCAP test. As a reminder, students in third grade for this past year, 2023, we had 71% of our students that were already meeting or exceeding expectations. But we do have a goal, but obviously the goal is not related to the 70% as stated here. Also, the goal must detail the district's to how to increase or what to increase the third grade ELL proficiency rates by 15% of the gap over the next 3 years, and we've already met the gap, so that's not included in our formula as well, or in our response. Also, number 2, explanation how the district's stated goals can be met within the district's budget. Number 3, for reports submitted starting in the 24-25 school year, a description of how the district's budget and expenditures from the prior school year enable the district to make progress toward the stated students' achievement goals. Each district's TISA accountability report is required to be presented to the public for review and comment before the report is submitted to the department. The district's accountability report was submitted to the Department of Education on October 26, prior to the deadline, and is being finalized tonight by the board. Also, the date of opportunity for local public comment was October the 18th to the 25th. A Google form survey was sent to all users and parent guardians through Blackboard Connect. An announcement post and also a pop-up notice on the district website directed community members to that form. We had a total of 420 participants, 300 parents and guardians, 149 employees responded to the survey. 90% of them agreed with goal statement 1, 85% agreed with goal statement 2, 93% agreed with goal statement 3, and 92% agreed with goal statement 4. Based on the feedback that goal statement 2 was too great of a reach, the goal for students to score met exceeded by 2028 was amended to 70% from the original 75%. So we recommend approval of this TISA accountability report as we presented.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve? Stillings, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there a discussion?
I would ask a question. I was just curious, after reading through this, since we've already met the goal of the 70%, we've already met the gap goal, is there any reward or benefit from the state because of that? Or, like, I just wondered if there's any acknowledgement to districts that have already met the goal and are going to continue to pursue it, maybe not as much, I don't know, just was curious.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything that specifically would be an acknowledgement of that. I know, obviously, with the part of the TISA formula includes outcomes, additional funding for outcomes, so I know that will be part of some additional funding we'll receive through TISA for that, but as far as any formal acknowledgement, I haven't heard of any.
But there will be additional funding because we have met some of the goals already.
Right.
Any other discussion? Motion by Ms. Stillings, a second by Ms. Newman. All in favor? Raise your hand. All right. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 2 is a policy revision, school board legislative involvement, 1.105. This is a first reading. Revisions reflect a change in the title of the individual charged with keeping the board informed of legislative changes. The title was previously legislative representative. For clarity, TSBA suggests changing this to legislative liaison. The administration recommends approval of the first reading as presented.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Can we approve on first reading and waive second reading on this?
Okay.
Can we change that motion then?
Yes. Motion to approve waiving first reading, waiving second reading.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Ms. Bell?
Question.
Question.
And all we're doing is just changing the name of a,
Yeah.
Have a motion and a second. Ms. Barker, any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 3, policy revision, school district planning, 1.701. It's also a first reading. As part of the legislation enacting the state's new funding formula, the districts are required to submit TISA accountability reports, which we've just submitted. TSBA recommends placing language about this requirement in policy to clarify that the board approves these reports. Revisions updates this policy to reflect that these reports should align with the board's district improvement plan and also follow language in the TSBA model policy. We recommend approval of the first reading as presented.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Wait a second.
Okay.
I second.
Okay. Is there a discussion?
I do just want to clarify, the only sentence we're adding into this is the sentence about the TISA accountability.
Correct.
All right. Motion by Ms. Townsend, second by Ms. Barker. Any further discussion? Not? All in favor? Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 4, policy revision, comparability of services, 2.300. This is also a first reading. Revisions follow a general review of our required policies and brings this policy up to date with language, as well as updating the title of the policy and references. The administration recommends approval of the first reading.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Stillings, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Townsend, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Thank you. Item number 5, policy revision, fundraising activities, 2.601. This is also a first reading. Revisions follow a general review of our required policies and bring this policy up to date with Tennessee Code 492134. If an employee is authorized to raise funds for non-educational purposes, the board shall adopt a policy that speaks to the use of the funds as well as the receipt, disbursement, and accounting for the funds raised. The policy shall also include sources from which an employee may derive the funds for non-educational purposes and guidelines as to how these funds shall be used. In addition, TSBA has provided language giving additional information on record keeping and tracking fundraisers based on updated guidance from the Comptroller's Office. The administration recommends approval of the first reading as presented.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Newman, is there a second?
I second.
Barker. Is there a discussion?
I have a question. Can you give an example of what a non-educational purpose might be in this context?
Dr. Esslinger reviewed this, so.
Yes, sir.
Remember,
For example, sunshine funds. That's funds that are collected for a non-educational purpose. When flowers are purchased on behalf of a
Gotcha.
death in the faculty's family,
Gotcha.
something that's along those lines. They still are collected funds and remitted and kept in the account, but they're restricted to non-educational purposes.
Okay.
Sir? All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Dr. Snow?
item number 6, policy revision, student suicide prevention, 6.415. This is also a first reading. Revisions follow review from the policies that are required by federal and state laws and regulations identified by TSBA. The policy uses a model TSBA policy language to update language and references to assure compliance. We recommend approval of the first reading as presented.
Is there a motion?
I motion to approve on first and waive second.
To approve on first, wait second. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Bell, is there discussion? Discussion, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you. Dr. Snow?
Item number 7, new policy, credit cards and credit lines, 2.8051. This is also a first reading. TSBA has provided language for this policy with provisions on the authorized use of credit cards and lines. This aligns with best practices outlined in guidance from the Comptroller's Office. We recommend approval of the first reading as presented.
Thank you, sir. A motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Townsend, is there a second?
I'll second it. I had a question.
Ms. Newman, question?
Is this replacing a current policy, or have we had a policy
This-
before regarding this?
This is a new policy altogether.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
All in favor?
You were late to the bell.
Yes, I was.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Director of Schools report, Dr. Snowden.
Yes, thank you. Brand medal update, the committee with Mr. Blair, myself, Dr. Decker, Susanna, Drew, and Carol met with Brand Medal on November the 7th for an update following our workshop that occurred prior to fall break. The group will continue to work with Matt Brown and his team over the next few weeks working on the brand narrative and the brand promise, utilizing all the information from input from the focus groups and the workshop that, like I said, was held prior to fall break. As we continue this process, we're looking to hopefully have something final for you to review and then possibly also approve at the January, obviously, the discussion at the retreat and then the vote at the January board meeting. So that's our timeline. Of course, with the holidays coming up, both Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's a little bit of a challenge, but we've got a schedule, so we think we'll be able to meet that schedule and be prepared for the board retreat in January. Any questions on that process?
Just a comment. It was a phenomenal session we had with Matt Brown, and I felt fortunate to be able to be part of that, the one before the last one. It's great work.
Right.
Look forward to it.
Well, I thought the day went extremely well. Had a lot of great participation from, our faculty and staff members, parents, obviously board members. I thought it was really, a lot was achieved, we believe. And our new family open house, we were excited on October 25th to host an open house for new families that were interested in learning more about our schools. Prospective parents were able to see our exceptional schools in operation, take advantage of the great opportunity to meet principals, visit classrooms, tour the building, and learn about the academics, related arts, fine arts, enrichment, and extracurricular offerings in each of our schools. In addition to a school tour, visitors were invited to tour our Performing Arts Center and visit our Legacy Gallery. The date for our spring open house will be posted as soon as the definitive date is finalized. Our 4th and 6th grade families will also receive more information on their opportunities to visit their 24-25 zone schools in the future. As we stated earlier, when I provided some information to you, we had 38 different families to tour one or more of our schools during the open houses, and we've already had 3 students enrolled just from those visits. So we felt like that was very productive. And so the principals, we talked about it, reflected, debriefed about that particular open house, and we felt like we would have another one in late winter. More parents may be making decisions about school. And let's see, out of those 3, 1 student is from out of the county, and 2 are coming from private schools back into, they reside within the boundaries of FSSD, so they're just moving from a private school back into public schools. So we were really pleased with the turnout, and especially with the parents that were willing to go ahead and make that change now versus waiting till either second semester or waiting to the next school year. Professional Learning Day on November the 7th, we had a successful district-wide Professional Learning Day. There were 7 sessions led by guest presenters, but most of the sessions were led by our FSSD professionals. We're very fortunate to have in-district personnel who are not only willing to share their knowledge and expertise with colleagues, but they do so willingly, and they do an awesome job. Thanks also to Ms. Carlton, who develops the many different professional learning sessions. And we also appreciate the teaching and learning team, the technology team, and our school administrators who provide support on those days. Be Nice Week is this week, so if you're not being nice, be nice. Our Be Nice ambassadors were in the parade. Well, I'm going to talk about the parade in just a minute. But this week, our campuses are celebrating Be Nice Week with activities highlighting character and kindness. All employees are receiving Be Nice jars filled with honey as a special gift. B as in D-E-E, nice. So we thought that was great. So I don't know, do we have any left that we might can give board members a little Be Nice? Is that?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we can find a few jars for
Okay,
you.
so you'll be getting a little jar of Be Nice honey. So,
All of us?
what? Only Mr. Townsend. No, everyone. Veterans Day Parade on November the 10th. Yes, we had good weather for a parade. As I started to mention earlier, our Be Nice student ambassadors from each school marched or in the float. And thanks to Chip for always driving the truck that's pulling the trailer, the float. Also, we had all of our 4th graders from each school participated. FIS Bulldog Council, and then the Freedom Middle Poplar Grove combined bands, as well as a story bus and a lot of board members and central office people following along, or in front of actually of the story bus, passing out flags and waving. I tell you, it would give you chill bumps when you watched our 4th graders enter the parade, and they were waving those flags and chanting USA, USA. And that was definitely a chill bump moment when you could hear those students doing that. And the band, I don't know if you've heard the band. Of course, we were well behind it, but we heard them warming up. They were great. They sounded great. So hats off to our band and our band directors for that. And thank all of you that were able to attend and participate. I know Mr. Stillings had his father there. He didn't march with us, but he had his dad there on the parade route, and it was always good to see. So we appreciate the opportunity to march in that parade and honor our veterans each year. American Education Week, November 13th through the 17th. This week celebrates public education and potential of all students, and also gives thanks to many educators and education support professionals, as well as parents and guardians who encourage our students in their studies. our vision of excellence in teaching and learning for all, along with FSSD's mission and goals to foster academic, social, emotional, physical, and creative development in each student, works to instill a desire to continue learning, nurture respect for all people, and promote responsible citizenship that embodies our values on behalf of our students. This year, Franklin Christmas tree lighting and Christmas parade, December the 1st and the 2nd. Christmas tree lighting begins at 6 p.m. on December the 1st, with performance starting at 6:45, featuring our Freedom Intermediate School Honors Choir and former students Quintavious Johnson, along with headliner Matthew West. And I have to interject that this past week I had the opportunity to speak to the City of Franklin leadership team, and a comment was made by one of the leaders of the city. I can't remember who it was. Mr. Townsend may remember, but the comment was made about the tree lighting and how much they appreciate FIS Honors Choir participating each year, and they made the statement that they always steal the show. So that's pretty impressive, and they do. Ms. Adams does a great job in conducting and leading our honors choir. The parade will be on December the 2nd. It will start at 2 p.m. that day, and we have the combined bands of Freedom Middle and Poplar Grove marching. We will also open the central office that day for the use by the city, county, and state officials as they prepare for that Christmas parade. Our board meeting in December, although this is on the schedule, it is tentative on whether there will be a definitive need for a December board meeting. We will be communicating with the board chair to help determine the status of that December meeting. Also, items for our board retreat. You've already heard of one particular item. Of course, we always talk about our school calendar, and there'll be other things. Our planning for the planning process of our strategic plan will be discussed. Please let us know other topics that you would like to have on that agenda of January the 6th. And then there's the information and conferences and meetings update, and then spring registration, our website, please check that for detailed information on registration for the 24-25 school year, which this year will begin March the 1st. That's all I have.
Thanks, sir. Yes, go ahead.
Dr. Stone, on our new family open house, I just was curious, did you get a sense of where most of the families were from? Were they private school parents or out-of-county parents?
More private school parents
Okay.
and a few homeschool parents. Not a lot of out of county, but I think the word will continue to spread, especially those parents who have already moved from out of county and are enjoying the experience that their children are having. I think word of mouth, and then of course our digital marketing campaign, I think will continue to at least reach those people, and hopefully they'll have an interest in coming to visit. I'll tell you a quick story about, I didn't mention this earlier, but in one situation, parents of a 4th grader and I believe a 6th grader, is that right, Dr. Erickson? Or 5th?
4th and 1st.
4th and 1st, that's right. So, but anyway, the parents visited a 4th grade math class and stayed just about the entire time and was so impressed at the rigor and what the teacher was teaching. I think that pretty much sealed the deal for them to be wanting to transfer their children into a school where they knew the curriculum was going to be challenging and rigorous so that their children could succeed to their highest potential. So I think that's the positive. Well, I know that's the positive about, you can have open houses in the summer but when you don't see a school, when you actually can see and experience a school that's operating, and you can visit with parents that have their children attend, and you can visit with teachers and administrators, you can go in the cafeteria, so you get to see what your child would experience on a daily basis. And there's not any games played. This is actually a school day. The only preparations principals make and schools make are to have people there to volunteer to have the parents take a tour. But it's class as normal. our instructional process carries on just like it would in a normal day. So there are no bells and whistles added. We want them to see and experience exactly what happens on a daily basis.
I was gonna say, I received a lot of compliments about our signage, and just how easy it was for people to be able to get to our schools. And so thank you very much for just that extra touch and making that available. And I also received a lot of compliments about our Founder's Day from people just being in the downtown Franklin area. I hung out after the parade, and just the curiosity of that for people. So thank you very much for bringing that extra awareness.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Dr. Sullivan? All right, updates, teaching and learning, Dr. Jackson not available. Dr. Eslinger?
Yes, you have your monthly reports from our financial reports and our HR reports. And also the sales tax collection report reflects the 8.9% increase over the same time period last year.
Questions? Thank you, sir. Any announcements from the board? Townsend?
One announcement, I would like to say this, Dr. Snowden, as a member of the city's leadership team, we appreciate you coming out and speaking with us. You're right, I think it was Lisa Clayton and the Director of Parks plus the Director of Engineering, Paul Holzen, were both complimentary of the fact that our kids kind of steal the show at the Christmas tree lighting. For the group, you ought to know, we tried to raise up Dr. Snowden as getting the Director of the Year, Superintendent of the Year, and you know what he said back to us is, I do it through all the people that work with him. And so he again gave you all the credit. But we were very appreciative of him, and it was a great session. He spent almost an hour with us, and it was very informative. He answered questions, any questions asked of him. So again, I just want to publicly thank you for coming out. It was an important part of our leadership meeting that day, having you kick off the meeting by answering questions. So thank you very much. You did a great job, and we found it very informative. And we wish you would have accepted our applause for you becoming Superintendent of the Year, but you gave it all to everybody else. Thank you much.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed being with you. I do have to tell you that the very last question was, and it was from the city administrator, Mr. Stuckey. He said, okay, I've always wondered, how do you make the decision on snow days? And I said, I just wake up really early and just flip a coin. No, I told him Bo's out on the roads at 4 o'clock in the morning, and Selby's up and talking to emergency management, and we're getting feedback, input from lots of people across the area. So it's not a decision that we make lightly. It's a lot of information but the bottom line is, you know this, you don't want to put buses in a dangerous situation. I mean, all of us as adults, we hopefully would know whether or not to drive our own automobiles, but to put your child on a bus and then happen to slip, or there would be a bus accident because of ice or snow or whatever, then so we pay very close attention to the roads, and that's what we told the city leadership that day. It does take a lot of time and effort from a lot of people to get input and then hopefully make the best decision possible. There's always 3 groups. 2 groups are really happy, the students and the teachers, and some parents. But some parents are not happy. So anyway, we do the best we can out of that. And some calls are, we like it when it happens at night, so you don't have to make that decision early morning, but sometimes you have to wait.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board? I want to make mention, I believe it was on last Wednesday, Leadership Franklin visited the PAC, and Jeremy and Susanna got a chance to give them a tour, and I think they thoroughly enjoyed it. So they got to do the PAC in the Legacy Gallery, and they also went to Freedom Middle, and Dr. Farmer gave a tour, and then we had a panel discussion with myself, Ms. Bell, and Dr. Farmer, and I think that was well received and very enjoyable. And I know later in the day, Dr. Snowden and Dr. Golden were also on the panel for Leadership Franklin. We do have two members of Leadership Franklin who are visiting us today, Mr. Greg Freeze and Mr. Alan Long. Thank y'all for coming to our meeting. And also, again, we want to thank and welcome our visitors from Rutherford County, Claire Maxwell and Francis Rosales. Thank y'all for being here. And also from Dixon County, Ms. Sonia Brogdon. Thank y'all for being with us tonight. Is there any other business before the board? Not, we are adjourned.